hallway, painted deep purple, with a Turkish runner in pinks and golds that muted their footsteps. Offices on either side held neat desks and dramatic artwork and women speaking in a dozen languages, each one pausing to bow her head as the trio passed. At the end of the hall was a wide oak door with a gold plaque. CEO, Coven Engagement Oracle. This was where they went now, taking off their gloves and sunglasses and piling them into the driver's arms. The crone sat at the round table, the only furniture in the room, save for the Indonesian woodwork bar against the back wall. She handed over her clutch and patted the driver on the front of his pants, over his zipper. "Good boy, Israel. Now go," she instructed. He said nothing, but his eyes narrowed. He would sit quietly in the waiting room until she was ready to retrieve him. Perhaps they'd have time for a detour before he drove her home to her husband. The mother poured herself an absinthe, plopped in a sugar cube, and joined the crone at the table. The maiden checked her phone one last time, swiped right on the screen, then deposited it in one of her pockets before sitting. There was a small whirring as the blinds folded down over the expansive wall of windows, and the city disappeared. In the darkness, someone snapped her fingers, and a circle of candles emerged from a mechanism in the table, popping a light. The mother turned to the crone. "How much time do we have for the final two?" "Pas assez," she answered, first in her native French. "Not enough." "They have to make it." The maiden put her elbows on the table, the snakes inked on her forearms, slithering in the candlelight. No room for error now. "First of all, how long do they have to get the sixth?" the mother asked. "It's complicated, always changing. The first had 7 years to find the second, but the second had half that to get to the third. Deadlines got shorter from there. The fourth, the fifth, they went down by years, then months," she trailed off. "How long?" the mother asked again. "Half a year. Not time to panic." The crone fidgeted with her cigarette holder. Finding the sixth is not the issue. The crone was a bookkeeper, the keeper of the texts, the interpreters of words found on the page and in the sky. Her family had passed down this seat to her, and from a careful study of old stories, she knew there was enough time to gather the sixth. "What is the issue, then?" The maiden was no nonsense. She wanted the facts that she could strategize. Coming from a long line of tenders, the women who manned the bars and collected the news, she understood the value of information. "Once she is brought in, the sixth witch," the crone paused. She hated being the one to deliver hard news, but the stars were complicated, and having the right kind of eyes to read them, that was an inherited skill. "She will have 17 days from the moment we find her." 17 days? Are you fucking kidding me? The maiden raised her voice. "That's not enough time to get a decent reservation, let alone find a whole-ass witch." The crone sneered. "Perhaps you need better foresight. You are a member of the Oracle, n'es-tu pas?" The mother sighed, then told the crone, "Make sure you let the Salem leader know the time frame, please." "You know what? Fuck the rules." The maiden was agitated. She liked to win, and the stakes had never been higher. Plagues, wars, the climate crisis. No, things had to change, and now, before it was too late. The spell wears out soon, and they have 17 days to complete the circle. We need to step in ourselves. That's not up to us, is it? The mother reached over and patted the maiden's shoulder. As a watcher, the mother was their oversight, their protector, keeping them on track. We keep the network engaged, place our women in the right positions, tend to the coffers, but we do not step in. We are not coven witches and don't have that power. The women grew quiet, watching the flames which flickered on their faces so that they looked very old and infinitely young at the same time. This could be a messy business. And being as powerful as they were, representatives of their kind, heading a massive enterprise but still being powerless where coven business was concerned, that was a delicate balance, if only for their egos. The spell is clear. One witch finds the next.